Physique Factory podcast, and we have a guest that we haven't had in a while, Nick Broomhead, coming off 2 British championships. What an intro!
Yeah, not bad that is it?
You know,
Champ, two-time British champ, won a
double
pro
champ.
card twice in the same day.
That was going to be my first question. Like, what have you won this year? Because it does seem like a lot, hasn't it?
Right, so I did win several shows. Um, I will start by saying that the standard wasn't as high as, say, a PCA show. So it started off, which one was it first, Jimmy? PCA Hull.
Oh, was that the first one?
Yeah, PCA Hull, me and you went.
Yeah.
So that was on like the 29th. So let's just roll back a little bit here. Went to Ibiza at the start of September. No, mid-September.
This is why I wanted you on, Nick. I wanted
Yeah.
the Nick Broomhead fucking prep. I wanted to talk all about it and how much you love black coffee as well.
It was just mainly,
So
it was
fuck
mainly
off, Black
those.
Coffee, you dirty bastards. Do you? So Ibiza was mid-September. Then 29th September, I did PCA Yorkshire in Hull. Got second in medium bodybuilding to a guy called Maris, who is like 107 kilos or something, massive. But like feedback was good, and people were saying debatable whether I would won or not. Some people that you would kind of say, respectable people in the industry said that they're being first. But bodybuilding is subjective in it, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I think it was just a size thing, were it? He was fucking huge, that guy, were it?
Yeah,
And he
yeah,
had enough.
some people that said like, "Oh, my shape and structure, my condition," but he just outsized me. So it is what it is. It's bodybuilding, fair dues. I was very happy with the result. Um, I didn't expect to get second anyway.
No, I
So
think when it comes to bodybuilding like that as well, I think that when it is bodybuilding and not classic or anything, they're definitely going to favour more of the size, aren't they? And if you've got enough condition to win the show, then they're going to sort of go with that, aren't they?
yeah, um, and then week after that, so it was basically week after week. So week after that was IBFA T side on the Saturday. I won the class two bodybuilding and then won the overall. So the day after it was FitX Leeds. So I went to FitX thinking like, right, I'm fucking gonna go here. Could potentially win two overalls in a weekend. And then I went there and there was a guy there who I'd lost to in 2021 who won the British in 2021. I'm thinking, fuck, what's he doing here? Like he did one on the Saturday as well, like in London somewhere, two bros or something. I was like, fuck, I don't know if I can beat him. So I went into that one, I got on stage. I didn't really take much notice of this other guy until kind of like we were like walking out on stage. I'm like, fucking hell, he's big. So I got moved to the center and people were getting moved around me. Then I got moved out and this other guy got moved in. And then after we came off stage and the guy that I saw who had beaten me before said, I think he's just pitchy there. And I was like, fuck, proper got in my head. Um, but then looking back at it, that guy was sick. He's called Will Lloyd, fucking mint bodybuilder. Again, he probably like I'm always like 10 kilos less than, or I was about 10 kilos lighter than a lot of these lads, but he was fucking sick. He had good size. I might have out conditioned him here and there, but like overall, he was a way better bodybuilder than me. So I wasn't, it's like I was pissed off at the time, but then looking back, I'm like, nah, no way was I beating him.
He
He
won the
won.
British, didn't he?
He won the class and then he won the overall and he got a pro card for it. So I was good at the time, but then looking back, it's like I went in there with high expectations because I won the overall the day before. Weekend after that was IBFA British, so I went into that with again high expectations. I was hoping, in that this year probably finish top three. The goal was top three at IBFA British and top six at PCA British. IBFA again, it depends who turns up. I know people, very good bodybuilders that won the IBFA before. And I think Johnny Mack's British champion there. Craig Madden's won the British title there. Kelvin Hines won the British title there. So I went into that, and then I thought, right, I want this fucking sword. Did the class, won the class. Then go back downstairs. So they came down number 32. I'm like, yeah. Thinking, what the fuck have I done here? I'm going to get in trouble or something. And then he went, do you mind coming back up on stage to accept the best poser award? I'm like, really? Seriously? I thought I fucked it up. Why am I the best poser?
But
Fucking
the
hell.
guy, do you know why you won that? Because the song that you chose, and some guy started singing it in the crowd, and everyone was going mad for it.
So I got best poser, and then obviously went into the overall. And then there was another guy in the overall who was very good. He was a little bit sharper than me, and kind of like his coach was a little bit rude to me after, but that's another story. Um, and then
James
ended
has
up winning
already talked
overall.
about it on here anyway.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, I beat him. Obviously, I won the overall, came British title, got the British title, Mr. Britain. Um, and then went back downstairs, and I just tried to have a conversation with the guy, and then the coach kind of piped up and was a little bit rude. Said I was just clearly the second best bodybuilder on the day, and I was like, "What?" I couldn't even fucking process it. Looked at Jimmy. Jimmy's like, "What?" I looked at Chris. Chris was like, "What the fuck?"
what did you just say? Because you don't expect that, do you?
No, but to be fair, like I seen the guy after. I did. The guy messaged me at 4 a.m. and apologized. I just said, "You're out of order, mate. You're fucking rude, disrespectful, unprofessional in front of your client." I said, "Your client looks in shock. He looks embarrassed." But we had like words, and I said, "Look, if I see you, I'll fucking shake your hand." And I did actually see him a couple of weeks ago, and I shook his hand straight away. So IBFA British won that. And then it was the big one the week after, PCA British. Like I was going to PCA, obviously PCA is a very high standard. So I was going there thinking, right, I want top six. That was the goal, top six. Um, and I thought there's a couple of guys in there. I was looking through PCA's page of who won shows, who got second. I thought there's a couple of guys in there. I think I can beat this guy. I don't think I can beat that guy. I don't think I can beat that guy. So I'm thinking, right, maybe if I'm lucky, fifth, fourth, fifth, sixth, possibly, and then got there on the day, started pumping up everything. It was probably the best I've ever been that day. I was fucking shredded. Like Christian said to me, like Christian like took a video of me, and he said to me after, he said, "You're probably the leanest person I've ever seen in person." So that was like pretty good. Um, so got out on stage, pumped up. Now, normally before I go on stage, I have about 2 grams of salt as I'm walking out. I didn't have it. It just slipped my mind. So I went on stage, we did the comparisons, and then they did the call out, and I wasn't in the first call out, and I was like, fuck's sake. And then they moved everyone to the side, and then they said, can we make a change? And they moved one guy out and then moved me in. I'm like, right, here we fucking go. Right, let's try and get a top six. So there's 7 of us in that lineup. But everybody else in that lineup had either won a PCA show or won an overall at a PCA show. Like there was one guy who hadn't, but then since then, he's won he won the UK Open, and then he was just won the world title, PCA, and then won the overall at the PCA. So it's like these guys were all fucking sick. Unfortunately, I got seventh, and I think like I outconditioned the majority. But again, the size, they might have been 10 kilos heavier, but it was a little bit more buy, a little bit more try, a little bit more delt, and they just popped that a little bit more.
Are these like height classes that you guys do here?
Yeah, the height, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's shit as well, isn't it? Because like you
Yeah.
might just get into that, and then as you say, you've got guys that have got like 10 kilos on you.
Well, then you're up against the guy from who did Hull with me, and he's won 107, 108. And then I know that some of the other guys were like, say, 90, 93, 94 kilos before carbing up.
What
And
were
I
you on
was
stage?
I was like 80. I was on stage, well, the morning of the show was 85.2, sorry.
Yeah, pretty much 90.
Yeah.
What about the salt? I wanted to ask about that because like did you remember when you got on stage about that?
So I didn't have it, right? So I would normally like say like my pump up routine would be say well, an hour before. I have an Anadrol, half a Viagra, Winstrol. You won't know what any of this stuff means because you're a fucking naff.
I've heard
And
of
then, and then I'll have a kind of like, and then maybe 20 minutes before I'll have like a pre-workout pump formula with some Hydromax in, and then just before I get on stage, as I'm pumping up or after I've pumped up, I'll slam like 2-3 grams of salt, and it'll just make all the veins come out. I have around 300-400 ml of water with the drink, like 20 minutes before. So again, throughout the day, I might have been having 300 ml of water every 3 hours. Sorry, these phones are pinging off.
Bones. Dodgy.
Oh no, wheeling and dealing.
The reason I asked Nick is just because like obviously anyone that has done a bodybuilding show will know like little things start to mean a lot to you at that stage, and you start like if that were me and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to do this, I would be thinking about it the whole time on stage. I'd be like,
Well, the thing is, it clicked as I got into the lineup. So I walked in there. So I use the Protan's hot stuff before I go on stage, and the veins just go mad, mate. You get this redness under the skin, on the skin, under the tan. The veins go crazy. No one else has got it on because they're all fucking daft. They're all being patted down by these tanning girls putting fucking olive oil on. Fuck that shit. I just put that on. Everything just explodes. And then I walked in. So I walked in, and a lot of the guys were like looking at me because I was so vascular. And I'm thinking, fuck, salt, salt, salt. And I'd put it in a little pot and give it to my brother. And then I'm thinking, fuck, I've got to go back out there. It's going on. We're in the lineup. And I was like, oh, fuck it. I'll just have to fucking leave it. So I started noticing the effects of not having that just before, at the end of the first kind of like round of comparisons. And they sent us to the back of the stage. And I was like breathing heavy as fuck. And it's almost like getting to like hyperventilating. And I could feel kind of like the it was the blood pressure dropping, like serious drop in blood pressure. And I was like, fucking hell, I'm struggling to get my breath here. And then I thought, right, well, they had a bit of a rest because we're at the back of the stage. And then when they brought me into the call out, then it's like, right, I've got to work now. And I was gassing and gassing and gassing. And I came off stage. I looked straight for my brother in the crowd and I said, I need the salt, I need the salt, I need the salt. So he goes and gets some, brings it to the side of the stage. I just slammed that 2 grams, and I could just feel like the pressure in my body just changing, and it's almost like this fucking hell, and everything just chilled. My breathing went back to normal. Everything, like honestly, salt, and well, just like minerals in general, electrolytes is so fucking important when you're prepping. So important. It's like they make such a big difference in those last few days, especially kind of like that kind of difference, in my opinion, anyway.
it's not something I played around with, to be fair, but like, I mean, it's part of the reason we wanted to get you back on was to talk about your prep and how almost untraditional you can be in some ways, anyway. Like, obviously, in other ways, you're not. Like, because there is obviously some sort of what would you call it? Some sort of standards you need to keep. But like, yeah. So this was what was this the fourth show? I think you said third,
So that was the fifth,
fifth. Fucking hell. So how many do you do in total?
sixth.
Six.
So then after the PCA British was supposed to be the last show, I finished seventh. I was happy. I was happy with the result because of the guys that beat me. It's like fair enough. It's like if I beat one guy that I thought I would never be able to beat. Granted, he was ill the day before, but it's like I just going into it, I thought I'm never going to beat him, and I'm never going to beat this other guy. It's their show to win kind of thing. But then these other 2 guys came out into it that I didn't even know who they were. And then one of them got first, one of them got second. I was like, fucking hell. Then the guy that got second then went on to win the UK Open and then the World Championships. And it's like, shit. Again, it's bodybuilding. You never know who's going to turn up.
I have a funny story about that. I'm just going to interrupt you. Whereas a guy that I used to know, he was competing in a show down south, and it was like it was a natural one, and it was a BNBF Midlands, and I was going down with him, and he was like a bit of a cocky prick, really, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to win this and this and that," and like, fully sure he was going to win it, and then like it was like a day out or something. They're like, "Oh, this guy's entered Nana Ashanti," and
Oh,
we're
is that
like.
the black guy? The black guy who's sick.
Yeah, we're like, okay, this is going to be some big black guy. You knew, like, when you heard the name, you knew straight away. He calls himself, what, Arms Corleone or something, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, fucking
Like,
hell.
yeah. And it was him. He rocked up and beat him and everything. And he was just, like, absolutely fucking raging. He was sure in his head he was winning this. This guy just comes out of nowhere and just fucking annihilates him. But it was funny to see, to be fair.
I
Yeah,
think that's
you can never go into a show like that. Like I had a little bit of a feeling like that going into that lead show after winning the overall on the Saturday and going to the one Sunday. I never went in there thinking I'm going to win, but because I was on such a high from winning the overall the day before, I'm thinking I could win this. Like I didn't go into I never went into a show really thinking I could win this, I could win this. And then obviously this fucking guy turned up that I didn't even know who he was, and he just fucking was well there. Um, so yeah, back to PCA. So I came out of that seventh. I was happy with the result. Everyone was sick, and then just went right. Okay, off season starts. Well, kind of like a bit of a higher calorie week recovery, a couple of weeks recovery. So I did a full week kind of like on higher calories, put everything up to maybe like just over 3,000 calories. Had a couple of off plans here and there, so the average was probably about 3,500. And
Chinese?
then, eh?
Chinese?
No, yeah, fuck, don't
Yeah.
touch that shit. Um, so so then it got to the following Monday, was it? So the PCA show was on the Sunday, and then it might have been. I must have had a full week off. Yeah, I had a full week, like kind of like high cals. And the week on Monday later, I posted a few pictures post workout on like my private story and said, "FitX British on Saturday, ha ha." And a few lads were like, "You're not doing it," and I was like, "Nah, fuck that, I can't be arsed, I'm done." You're like, "Why you win?" And I'm like, "Nah." I'm thinking that guy who beat me in Leeds is going, and then I thought, "Hang on a minute." No, he's got his pro card in Leeds, so he'll be doing the pro show. So I messaged him. He said, "Yeah, I'm doing the pro show." And I was like, "Fucking hell, this was Monday night." So I'd already prepped my meals for Tuesday. So on Tuesday morning, I just went down, pulled my chicken out of the rice, bin the rice, took the chicken with me, dropped my carbs down to like 100 grams for 2 days, dropped like 3 kilos. And then it got to like, I think Thursday, put about 600 grams of carbs in. Friday, maybe about 300. Saturday, show day, exactly the same show day weight it was at the PCA British. And then just went there, did the show, won the class two bodybuilding. Um, and then they give me a pro card. So they only give pro cards out to class winners if they felt they were at a standard to be a pro standard within their fed. So I said to them, I said, "Look, if I take this pro card, does it mean I can't do the overall at the end of the show?" And she went, "Yeah, it does, yeah." And I'm thinking, well, the pro class is right after my class. The overall's at the end of the day. So I'd rather just do the pro show and then fuck off home. So I took the pro card, came off the stage, and then all the lads are doing the pro show. We're all stood there. And then they went, right, okay, we're not going to do the pro class now. They literally pumped up, stood at the side of the stage with the fucking badge on. The head judge said, we're going to leave that till the end of the day. And it's like, what? Why? So then I thought, I'm sat around for hours. I said to one of the like staff, I said, look, if I give this pro card back, can I do the overall? And then eventually it was like, yeah, you can do. Because I'm thinking I'm not going to win the pro show, but I could win the overall. I'd rather win the overall. So I give the pro card back, ended up winning the overall. I got given a pro card again, and then came off and went back on doing the pro class. But then it was silly that because in the pro class they just awarded first place, and it was actually a pro show, so they should have done first, second, and third. I reckon. I think I was probably about fourth or fifth at that.
Hmm. That's such a Nick Broomhead story, though. I got two pro cards in one day
Mm.
of the same fed.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's take this back to what we were wanting to kind of cover as well with your prep is like talk to me about Ibiza. When did you go to Ibiza then on this prep?
So we went to Ibiza mid September.
Had you competed at that point? No.
No, no, I
Oh,
competed 2 weeks later.
2 weeks later. Fuck's sake.
So I did do that last year, but I wasn't in the same condition. But like this year, I went, me and my girlfriend, and it's like, right, okay, like she's quite on it with dieting as well. So she's in decent shape. She wants to stay in decent shape. So we're literally getting up, having a similar breakfast every morning, fruit, protein shake, making sure we're hydrated, having a light lunch, and then having whatever we wanted for like dinner at night, and then always ice cream or something at night. But at the same time, if you're on holiday, you're always doing lots of walking. So steps were always like 20,000, 25,000. So I came back. I came back about 86 kilo. And then I dropped down from 86 to kind of like flat 82 and a half
What were you
before.
before you went?
I think it's probably 84 and a half.
Yeah. So you're already pretty much there before you went.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I obviously came right down and then filled back up. And I filled the first show was 84 kilo, just over.
And was this
And then
all
the last
planned?
show.
Like when you were planning out your prep, were you like, right, I'm going to Ibiza at this point, so I want to be ready before it, or did it just kind of happen?
No, I just winged it, the whole thing.
Love it.
I started dieting in May and thought, oh, I might do some shows. I'll just see how it goes.
Hmm.
Remember that, Jimmy, when we went to Christians and they were all like, I said, oh, I'm starting prep. And they were all like, are you going to do a show? And I was like, I might do. I don't know if I can be
Oh,
asked.
yeah. You half-assed it. You wasn't 100% in from the beginning, was you?
No,
I like that
no.
though, because like you're just kind of going with the flow, and it's like, look, if I get to that stage and I feel like I want to do it, I'll do it. But like if I don't really fancy it, then. Nothing's
I
lost.
got to a stage when I was dieting, and then you was dieting, and I got leaner than you before I went away on holiday.
Don't believe
Yeah, you
that.
did. Yeah, but then you stopped dieting and I carried on.
Yeah, that's it.
You're still
So
relatively lean as well, James.
Yeah, I'm what am I now? 97.
I'm the only fat cunt here, and I weigh the least.
Yeah,
uh,
I know the cure to that.
yeah,
Bottle
same.
What would that be? More salt.
Yeah, more salt and more pharmaceutical growth hormone.
I always wonder, like, because I mean, like on stage the last time I was like 68 kilos, so there's no much to me. I wonder if I was to like run gear for a couple of years, like how much I would actually put on.
69 kilos, that's what you'd be.
69.5. If I get my carb up slightly better, I'd be 69 kilos. But so yeah, Ibiza, were you drinking?
No.
No, okay, so no alcohol.
And to be fair, we were there for 5 nights and we only went out two. And one of those was Ushuaia that finishes at 11. So it wasn't like we're having late nights. We had one
Yeah.
late night. Um, so on late night, a couple of bumps of coke,
All right,
few
okay, we're
pills,
getting into that.
Yeah, well,
a
it's
few
up. We can
pills.
talk about anything.
It wasn't lots. So we didn't like go like fucking partying. It wasn't really like that. Last year, like, it was partying every night, and I still competed 2 weeks later, but I wasn't in the kind of condition that I was in this year.
Yeah.
Mad. And then yeah, oh fucking hell, we went to warehouse, didn't we? In between you going
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
about
So after the PCA British, obviously that was supposed to be it, and then the following weekend we went to Warehouse Project. Um, so that was yeah, but we left there at like 1:30.
yeah, it was about half one were it when we left. It weren't too
Yeah,
bad. But we
I
got
didn't have that. I didn't have that many drugs there either. But I did do like 20,000 steps that day, 25,000 steps that day.
The good
So
thing about when you get like high on drugs is like you'll do a lot of steps.
yeah, you're gonna burn a lot of calories taking it. The
well,
calories
it's two-stepping, but we also trekked all over fucking Manchester as well, didn't we?
walking around fucking everywhere from Deansgate, Northern Quarter to fucking uh,
Yeah,
But I think going back to it all as well, it's like I think the trick there is like you were pretty much ready before you went. So like whether you meant it or not, you were already in good nick. And I think it's like easier to hold on to it when it's like that, and then your mindset's in the right place too, where you're like, okay, I'm not going to go mental on this holiday. I'm just going to
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Whereas if you're if you're fat and you're behind and you're going on a holiday, it's like yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. I mean, I am. I think I've went on a holiday every single time I've prepped, to be honest.
you haven't you? I remember that last year.
Yeah, I seem to always do it. I always seem to get like a holiday in the middle of a prep. And last year, I dropped a kilo when I was on holiday. That was an all-inclusive fucking holiday at a hotel. Bear in mind, I don't drink when I'm on holiday or anything like that, unless it's like some sort of occasion. But yeah, like every time I've had a holiday, to be fair, but just not Ibiza. It's not like that.
I think you when I say Ibiza, people automatically assume it's non-stop partying.
Yeah,
It's like I'm getting old. I've done the partying.
yeah,
I've done season work in there, everything else. It's like
yeah,
I can go there and I'd much rather now go and do 1 or 2 nights in 7
yeah,
and I want them to finish at midnight and then I go home. Unfortunately, most of the nights in Ibiza don't start until 3 a.m. and I just don't want to do that anymore. It's fucking shit.
yeah.
I, I
Um,
thought I'd knocked it on the head going out and stuff like that, but you brought it back.
oh, it's all my fault for
It is your fault.
introducing you to
When
real
you
nights out and real music, none of that screaming stuff you
but
used to
you
listen
don't listen to that on a night out, not to gigs and stuff like that. But I mean, they are different nights out in terms of not drinking much and then doing
Yeah,
one.
yeah, exactly.
It's more fun, and I felt amazing. And to be fair, I didn't feel rough the next day. I did not feel rough the next day. I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm a little bit tired, but yeah, I'm sweet. I'm not fucking
So
hungover.
that was better than your trip to the Star Bar with me, is what you're saying.
Oh God, that place was fucking madness. He took me in this pub in his little local town. Walked in, I was like, what the fuck is this place? Turned to the right, there's just a guy starting a line off the table in plain sight, not hiding it. What? I was like, what the fuck is that all right in it? He was like, oh yeah, that's just normal. I was like, what the fuck?
It's
Like,
just how
what?
you do, apparently.
Yeah, my feet were sticking to the floor when I was walking through it. It's like, oh,
Oh, nice.
It's all right though. It's like it's your local. You're used to it. We should have brought Nick to that one
oh fucking hell.
during the prep. But Yeah, that's really cool. And then going back to like obviously your approach to prep now, Nick, getting serious again. Like, so how do you do it? Like, do you like do a meal plan? Do you do macros? How do you do your diet?
So I stick to a meal plan. I stick to a meal plan. Um, there might be some variation in there now, and like say like whatever fruit I might have with the meal might change, whatever I
Yeah,
fancy. Um, and then obviously I always keep the oat milk in the lattes every day, oat
that's
milk
it.
latte, and it's like if that is there from the beginning, it's there. It's like a Starbucks. Say for example, a Starbucks flat white is about 180 calories. No, sorry, it costs a flat white is about 180 calories, and that's bigger than a Starbucks. So it's like, well, that's there every single day, and it's the same one every single day. So the calories just come out around it. I was having that on show day. I'd have two of them.
Yeah, that's what I do with
Two.
sauces. Like so I do a meal plan when I prep for a show as well. And like I keep sauces in from the start, and as long as they're the same throughout, then
Oh
no.
mate, I was smashing sauces.
But, you
The
know,
only thing, the only thing was like, I took mayo out about 4 weeks out.
yeah, it's dangerous.
Everything else is like ketchup, and it's like I don't weigh it. I just put it on.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's mad when people get like ketchup or fucking like hot sauce or something, they're weighing it out. You're like, yeah, you've lost it.
Hot
I
sauce,
get it with meal.
hot sauce is about 50 calories in the whole bottle. It's like if you're weighing that out, you're a fucking moron,
The
Yeah,
and you
you're
shouldn't
Frank's
be
one,
not.
isn't it?
putting it.
Frank's one does fuck all, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's 30 calories per 100 mil. It's nothing.
I
So
used
it's like
to ratchet. I
if
think
you
it's a bit more.
if
Yeah.
you're doing that, all it's going to do over time is just cause like little bits of stress. And the way that I do it, I just don't stress. I don't take stuff like thyroid hormone. I haven't taken thyroid hormone since 2017, and everyone else is smashing thyroid hormone, and everything else. And it's like I don't do that. And then everyone else is getting caught up on all these minute little things. I'm just like, what for?
Yeah,
Why
that's
why get
bodybuilders
into
for you though, isn't it? Like they
yeah,
just
why
want
why
a little bit.
why you eat drinking black coffee? Do you enjoy it? Oh no, normally I have lattes. Right, well why don't you just leave them in then? The only reason people do things like that is because that's the norm. That's what other people do. That's what you're supposed to do. It's like do whatever you want to fucking do. As long as you get shredded at the end of it, that's all that matters. And it's like, not to sound big-headed, but at the British, I was one of the most lean guys there. That's the PCA British, the driest, leanest guy there, and it's like everyone else is doing all this stuff, and that's the other thing. I don't have a coach, do I? I coach myself. Everyone else is being coached and they're doing what the coach does from the coach's experience and the coach's norms and everything else. It's just like sometimes you just have to figure it out what works for you by yourself.
What how do you find coaching yourself? Because I done it for my show last year and I had a mixed experience, I would say.
Well, I'm so used to doing it, it's easy.
Yeah,
All I do is look back on previous data. It's like doing these shows, it was fucking simple. It's just you do the show on a Saturday or a Sunday, the next day you train legs back to normal food, and then it's like you do 2, 3 days of normal food, and then it's kind of like then you'd be loading for the show, a little bit less loading, show, and it'd just be like that week after week after week.
do you
So it
find
was very, very predictable. Like I said, the show day weight was 95, 95.2 for PCA British, and I think 95.3 for FitX British 2 weeks later.
4 kg up.
what's
Not
that?
95, sorry, 85, 85.
Do you find you
5
question
kg up
yourself a lot?
255. What's that, sorry, mate?
Do you like question yourself a lot when you're self-prepping, or have you in the past? Like, because that's what I found. I was like, if you had
So,
told me, say you were my coach and you told me go do this, I'll go do it. But if I set the rules, I'm a bit like, should I do that? Should I do this? Should I have the
there
little
is there
plan?
you do have a lot of internal dialogue,
Yeah,
and you're constantly talking to yourself and constantly thinking, "Oh, should I do this? No, no, maybe no, maybe I should leave that." And then you just kind of like take a step back and just think, "No, I'll just leave it." Or, "Yeah, I will do that." And it's like then you look at the pictures, you look at the scale, you look at the data, and it's like, right, okay, assess it just like you would a client. And it's like, right, no, yeah, I'm just going to leave that the same, or I'm going to change this, or I'm going to do that. It's like
I
I'm
was
gonna be
I
happy.
was treating myself like a client last year. You know, I had like a spreadsheet and that I was tracking it.
That's how you've got to be though.
That's
Yeah. But I would say like last year was probably like I wasn't in as good condition as I'd been in the past, and I think a bit of that was I was my own coach. I was a bit lenient on myself. I was letting myself off for things, and I wasn't really. It just wasn't being harsh enough, I don't think. And maybe my head wasn't completely in the game. I think if I'd been getting coached, I think I would have done better last year. That's what I'm saying.
I'd be the way around. I'd just hit it too fucking hard. I wouldn't know when to pull back, and I would be absolutely fucked. And that's why I'm gonna get a coach next year to prep.
Hmm.
Yeah, but you were guilty of that even when you were with a coach, didn't you?
Yeah, no, it was like,
You still wanted to do more. You still wanted to do more all the time. It's like just fucking chill the fuck out, man.
yeah, I was fucked. But what's that? 30 minutes cardio? Oh, sound an hour. That's fine. How much
Yeah,
test?
yeah,
How much test? 300, 600. Fine.
yeah. Whereas with me, it's like fuck that. I don't want to do a fucking hour cardio. How can I do less here? Ugh. I'd rather do less. So like say I was doing cardio up to Ibiza and then I came back from Ibiza and then I thought I'm pretty much there now. And then my hamstrings were so and calves were so fucked. And it's like this is just gonna cause me more and more fatigue. Fuck it, I'm not doing it now. I'll just do steps in the morning. I'll just do 4,000 steps in the morning at the same time. In the same time frame, I can do 4,000 steps. Sweet, I'll just do that.
Yeah, you
Hmm.
can tell when it comes to that. When your legs are absolutely fucked and like lead, you think, ah, that's too much.
Yeah. But I'm still doing so like now, post show, I'm still doing that. I'm still going for a walk outside at 5 a.m. and doing 3,000 steps. I've like used the timeline on like the tracker to plot out the whole thing until the start of next prep. There's like 22 weeks left. So that's going to help me. Like I've not done that before. That's going to help me stay on track. Because what I normally do is I'll be sweet until say Christmas, and then I'll have a week off work. Routine drops. I stop doing the walk. The digestion's all over the place. Food's all over the place because it's Christmas, and then it all just goes to shit. Or when I get to a certain amount of calories, usually like over 5,000, then digestion goes, and then I'm just like I can't be asked eating. Start like over the past year, I missed so many fucking meals. I had so many half-assed training sessions, whereas now my days like built around my training as it used to be, and because I know that there's a time frame involved, it's like I'm not slipping.
Hmm.
Yes, okay, I've not been 100% consistent with a diet at all. Like I'll have a little bit of a biscuit here or there or something like that. I might come home and have a few biscuits or a few handfuls of cereal extra or bits of fruit here and there, whatever. But it's like minimal. I'm still kind of tracking it and it's still coming around 4,000 calories on average at the minute. And my weight's pretty much stable now at like 89, 90 kilos. So going into next week or something, I'll probably up it again. But I don't want to up the food too fast because I know, say I want to get up to say, I've never gone over 98.8 kilo. And I think if I want to be competitive, I need to be 5 kilos heavier. So if I put on an extra 5 kilos in the off season, but bring the same condition out at 98, then I need to gain X amount of weight per week now going forward. So I don't want to rush it. So it's like looking at everything a lot more calculated now over the next 6 months.
Yeah, nailing that rate again, innit? So I'm looking
Yeah.
like in point around about point 0.4, point 0.5 in kg each week. You know that
See,
mark?
see, for me, I think for me to get where I need to be, I think it's about point 0.6, point 0.7. I
I like
think,
like so like your approach again. Like it's so relaxed in some ways, but in other ways you're so on it as well. And it's like I think it's important for people to see because I'm thinking like even like some clients of mine listen to this and they're like, oh fucking he goes to Ibiza and he drinks his milk lattes and that. It's like, but like you're making sacrifices in places. You're being on it. Everything's planned. Everything's calculated. It's not as if it's random. Which is more than I can say for my like gaining phase at the minute. Like, but I like what you said there as well. You've kind of got a timeline of like when you're next kind of stepping on stage, and that helps you stay on it in the off season. And I was talking about this with a client earlier today as well. He's on like his first kind of proper bulk, and he's like, "Oh, I just want to keep the structure, I just want to keep the routine, and like things like that." Because like you can almost like, especially when you get to like a bulk, it's like so easy to lose that structure and just be, fuck it, as long as I'm eating plenty and, almost turn into like what you call like a dirty bulk almost saying like it's so easy to lose that. And I think it all starts with the food. If you're on it with the food and if you're structured and routine with that, then you're going to be on it. You're going to be getting up at the right time in the morning. You're going to be doing your steps. You're going to be doing the training sessions. It's like, it all kind of starts from there. It's all discipline from there. And
that's the word. Just use the word discipline
yeah.
because it's not easy. Like this morning, it's like -3, -4, and I went outside at 5 a.m. and walked for half an hour. And my nose was fucking freezing. I didn't want to do it, but it's like discipline. It's not really motivation, it's discipline gets you through because it's like
Exactly.
it's something that I have to do. And if I don't do it, I'll be pissed off. And I think ever since I got back from Ibiza, which was probably about 8, 9 weeks ago now, it's like I've only missed, say, a handful of those early morning walks, whether that have been in the gym, on the treadmill, or outside. And usually I only missed them because it was kind of like some point in peak week where I was trying to stay off my feet, or it was kind of like the day after the show, or it was the day after a night out.
Mm.
And so it's a handful of days out of, say, God knows, 100 odd days. So it's that discipline pulls you through and the consistency of everything.
Yeah.
It's like now I've just looked. So like we were saying about rate of gain before. So I've got 22 weeks left. Um, and I've got to gain 15 kilos in 22 weeks.
22 weeks till you start prep. Yeah.
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 Um,
There's a PCA show in Scotland, in Perth next year, near me.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. But it's like April, dead early.
so my rate of gain is like, it needs to be 0.7 kilos per week.
Mm.
And then it's kind of like that'll take me up to a 24-week kind of like pushing phase. Then it'll have a 3 week hold and then into prep. Prep you're going to start 19th of May.
Sweet.
My rate of gain is I don't know because I'm just fucking winging it like I was talking about. I'm
What
like,
show are you doing next year?
I'm
what's
just going
that?
to do 6 months.
Oh, are you PCA? You're not PCA Manchester. Dodging that.
No, I think I'm going to do Yorkshire because of its closeness to the finals.
Yeah, makes sense. What date was that?
29th of September.
September. Yeah, PCA Manchester. That's like the 3rd of September, isn't it?
So PCA Manchester was normally 6 weeks from the finals, and that PCA Yorkshire was like four. It just made it easier to hold. I wouldn't, I probably won't bother with IBFA or Fitex next year. Um, what I may do is just do a PCA show every weekend.
I
Two
thought you
bros.
was going to say two bros then.
No, fuck that. Never, ever.
What about you, James? What are you planning on doing?
Oh, I wanted to do Manchester, but again, it's just working it out in terms of time. Like it's 6 weeks out. I did that last year, so I don't know if the shows between it. If I do that, PCA Manchester, and then do to the
Yeah, but
final.
the thing is, Jimmy, it's like you may as well just jump into anything that's just around. Little shows, big shows, fuck it, just do a show. It's just having a show to aim for like that, it just keeps you on it.
Yeah,
And I find I like some people like I listen to pros and they talk about, oh, I don't know how people peak for two shows on the bounce, or a 2 week gap between a show. It's like it's fucking well easy. It's so easy because you literally you'll fill up for one show and then you kind of like hold that fullness. You might gain an extra pound or so of water and then you drop that off over 2 or 3 days. You fill up again, go into the next show, drop that off, fill up again, and it's just easy. So much easier.
I remember I'd done a show 2 weeks after one, 2018 I think it was, and I remember like I didn't plan to do that. It just like kind of happened, and I remember being the hungriest I'd ever been between those two shows. Like when I'd done the first peak and I'd done like proper carb depleting, carb up sort of thing, and then after that, like trying to just eat like a normal diet for a week after that. Before going into like a little peak for a second one, I was just fucking starving, just fucking ravenous the whole time. And that was the hardest 2 weeks of prep I've ever done in my
Yeah,
life.
so but then that's why, because it was 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Like I've done that between shows before. The longest I've been is probably like 3 weeks, and it's fucking hard
yeah.
because you don't get that. You don't you okay. You might have a high day here and there between, but if you have basically like a couple of days back on a a low food plan, like 3 days, 4 days, and then you're on 500-600 grams of carbs again, it's like, oh, sweet. So you might only have to go low for 3, 4 days, and it's just like to get you through each of those days is like 2 days to go, one day to go. Right, okay, food's back in. Bam, food's back in. You feel a lot better. You feel fucking happy. Then it's the show time. Then you get the buzz off that, and then it's like you might have a bit of an off-plan meal a day after. And then it's back into that low food, and it's like, right, just 4 more days this low food, and then I'm back into high food. It just keeps you going.
It's mental. That's what bodybuilding does to you. You live meal to meal and like show to show, and
Oh,
yeah.
fucking hell. Around those kind of times, like between shows, that's what it is. It's literally like you're like, oh, 10 minutes to go and I can eat. Sit
It's
down.
fucking mental. And if you've not done it, you can't understand that, can you? Like how
No.
fucking I remember like certain parts of prep, like I'd maybe have a meal at like say fucking 10 a.m. and then one at like 1 p.m. And I was like, right, I'm gonna have a fucking black coffee in between these meals to split up the meals now. So it's like, okay, if I get to like 11:30 or 12 p.m. or something, I'll get my coffee and then my meal will be an hour after that. And you just turn fucking slightly
See,
mental.
that's it, but that's exactly what I was. So it was always like I'd have my first meal at 6, 9, 12, then like, and then I'd have to go a 4 hour between one of them to then it'd then leave me 3 hours between the fourth and the fifth, and I'd only have 5 meals on prep, whereas now I have six.
Yeah.
But then in the mornings, it'd always be like, right, it'd be like your first meal, and then maybe an hour and a half later you're starving, but oh, it's Costa time, right? Who's going Costa getting these coffees? And then it'd be like there, and it's like that's the next thing to look forward to, and then it's not too far, and then it's another meal, and it's just like these little things, and then there might be a can of Pepsi between that meal and the next meal. It's like, oh, that'll keep me going.
Can of Pepsi Max. That's it. That's all it takes. Chewing
Yeah,
gum. Like I'm fucking chewing gum right now. Like that's fucking such a game changer as well. Like
That
things
is a game changer. Vaping.
yeah, you fucking. I knew you were gonna say that, you smackhead.
disgusting. Right. Are we gonna wrap this up, boys? You got anything to add to all this, Nick? What is like sum up your experience?
People need to relax a little bit more. Don't sweat the small stuff, and then they'll probably end up in better condition.
Enjoying it
And you
more.
don't have to do what everyone else tells you to do is the norm. Just just break the fucking limits and just try stuff. And if it fucking works, it works. If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. And if you want to drink oat milk lattes every day, you drink oat milk lattes every day.
I'm gonna add to that if you want to drink black coffee, so it's perfectly acceptable because they do
You
taste
are a
good.
psychotic maniac or Scottish.
I just had one
Psychotic
earlier.
maniac.
I was going to bring one for this call, but I had one when me and James were on a call earlier, so I was like, "Fuck it."
Well, yeah, but so like with that with coffees, like Jimmy, you stopped having fucking coffees with milk in on prep. And I remember being sat next to you, and I was like, why? And you're like, oh, well, just, this is calories, I'll just take a bit more calories out. It's like, mate, it's like fucking 20 calories in the day. You just do like an extra 50 steps or something.
I
Yeah.
just like I've done it that long that I
Black coffee.
actually
It's all
enjoy
right
it.
You do not like black coffee as much. Well, if you like black coffee, why'd you order a fucking almond latte then?
because I like that better.
Exactly. So next time, drink the fucking almond latte.
I'll get a milkshake as well, one of those big frappuccino things.
As
It's all
long as
right.
it's there as long as it's there from the beginning. If you want a frappe every
All
day,
right,
you have a
fucking
frappe.
500 calories in a fucking frappe. Yeah, wicked cream on top and everything. Buzzing.
Yeah, yeah, but then you'll just be 500 calories less from the rest of your day, so you might
Your
be a bit more.
your meals would be chicken and broccoli.
It's tiny fucking amounts.
All carbs are coming from your frappuccino. Right, boys, let's wrap it up at that. Thanks for coming on, Nick. We'll see you again soon, no doubt.